Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Art with Miss Myra. I'm sorry we're a couple minutes late starting today. I had some problems getting connected to the internet today, but we are all set and ready to go, and I have a really exciting project for you guys today. Today is Thursday, April 2nd, and today we're going to be doing the hard cover traveler's style notebook or journal. Okay, and so the supplies that we are going to need for this is we're going to need an old hardcover book, and we need one that has you can stick your finger between the end of the book here and the cover, the spine of the book and the thing. So we don't want one that is glued straight across. We want one that we can get our finger in here. Okay, and that's very important. We need 4 elastic, skinny elastic headbands, or you can use elastic that you have sewn together. If that's what you have, you can use we need stationery paper. We also need just either printer paper or sketchbook paper, some kind of paper that we're going to put together, and we're going to make our signatures. And signatures are the inside of your your hardcover journal. So that's what we're going to need. You'll also need a cereal box that you can cut, cardboard. That's the weight of the cardboard that we want. And then I said yesterday, you need to go down to the post office or if you had a mailing envelope at home and get one of those envelopes that have, kind of it's the envelope that's like this, that has, the kind of fibrous. We need one of those too. So, okay, and then we need some kind of glue. I am going to use tacky glue, and it's also helpful when we do our outside decorating of our notebook cover if you have a hot glue gun. And then I'm going to use Mod Podge also and stuff to seal the outside of it, and this is just our homemade Mod Podge. Again, which is, just taking 8 ounces of white glue to 4 ounces of water and putting it in a jar and shaking it up. That's how we do that. And then if you want, for the outside of your cover, if you want to decorate it with stickers, whatever you have and stuff, if you want to just draw on it and stuff, you can do that too. Okay, so it's whatever you have, whatever's available to you, just use those things. Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm going to move my phone down just a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better, and we're going to get started. So thanks so much for joining me today. Okay, so I've got my supplies laid out, and I'm going to, what I first have to do, and if you don't have an X-Acto knife like this, don't worry about it. You can also do this just by opening up your scissor and using one end of your scissor, okay? But I've got an X-Acto knife, so that is what I'm going to do, and that is how I'm going to start taking this hardcover book apart. And so, that's the thing. We are going to take the insides out of it and make it into something new. So what I'm going to do first, though, is because this was a library book, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, take out that. I don't need that. Okay. And so then what I'm going to do next, and this is going to be a little bit hard for you guys to see on camera, because I have to look at what I'm doing, okay? So I'm going to just open up my book, put it like this, and make sure, my finger can go down all the way down. And yep, this is a good one to use, okay? So I'm going to set it up like this, and then I'm going to take the very edge of my X-Acto knife, and if you're using a knife like this, please be very careful. It's very sharp. And then I'm going to just very carefully cut, and I don't want to cut through, because I don't want to cut the outside spine. I just want to cut, and sometimes you can just kind of even rip. I'm a big proponent of ripping. But you want to cut along, you know, down, just kind of like this, and we want to get that book out, the pages out of our book. But we don't want to cut through on the other side. And again, I apologize for the camera and stuff that you guys can't really see, but I can't do it backwards, so, or upside down, or however you want to say it. So I'd love you guys to comment and tell me, are you getting snow in your area? I couldn't believe it this morning and stuff that there is snow on the ground. Like I said, I probably caused that and stuff because I took my snow tires off. So, okay, so I've got one side that is ripped off, or, you know, cut off, and now I'm left with this. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to very carefully cut my other side, and I'm just going to, you know, go all the way down with my X-Acto knife, and then I'm going to kind of, you know, tear a little bit too. I'm going to be really careful not to cut myself. There we go. So we just tore that up. So we're going to set that aside. If it's a book that has artwork in it and stuff, we can save that for another project. If it's a book, you know, that we don't have any need for and stuff, don't worry about it. Just throw it away. So, but I like to keep all the prints, you know, and stuff from any of these books that I have done like this. I always keep the print because you never know when you might need something like that. So, okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my scissors and I'm going to very carefully just kind of trim the edge here. And I just want to make that nice and even. So when I start putting my traveler style notebook together, it's going to lay flat. Okay, so I'm going to take and trim. And this book was actually in very, very good shape. I have worked with some books in the past that the spine, and what I mean by the spine is, you know, the spine, this part of the book is very, very fragile. And it makes it's not impossible to work with books like that, but it does make it a little bit more difficult. Okay. All right. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to work at stabilizing this area, okay? So we're going to work at stabilizing the spine. And what I do is I take a piece of, you know, cereal box or a pop box, that weight of you know, cardboard, and I just cut a strip. And I want to just cut a strip that is just this wide, okay? So I want to have, and I think this is 1 inch. So that is 1 inch. I have a 2-inch wide strip here, so I'm just gonna cut that in half. Okay, now I have my 1 inch strip. Oops, and I got it a little bit wide, so I'm gonna have to trim it just a little bit. That's all right, I just want it to fit just right, very snug in that area. There we go, perfect. Trim it just a little bit on the bottom. And we just want it to go completely from the top to the bottom of the book, just right like that, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I have my tacky glue, but if you don't have tacky glue, you can just use plain white glue, Elmer's school glue, but you just have to get a really good covering of glue. And then I have a silicone brush that I use for all of my glue projects to smooth out my glue. If you don't have that, don't worry about it. You know, you can go ahead and just use your fingers or you know, whatever you have and stuff. But I have that, so I like my silicone brush. And I think I just bought it at Dollar Tree quite a while ago. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and push down on that, make sure that I get a really good seal. And then I have cut a piece of my mailing envelope that I got from the post office, and I asked the postmaster if I could have it, and they told me yes. So, and I have done a 2-inch strip. This was a 1-inch strip, so I want to do double what is you know, I want to do the double width of my spine, okay, so it covers on both sides. I'm going to have to trim just a little bit here on the end. And we do this, and you can also buy this tape. This tape is just very expensive. 10-Vic tape is very, very expensive. And so that's why I say, you know, if you can just, if your postmaster is nice enough to let you have one, get one like that and stuff, because you don't use it very much. You know, you don't use it very much. Even if you make a lot of these, you don't, you know, I mean, you can see it's just a 2-inch strip. So no need to go out and buy something that, you know, is, I think the last time I checked, you know, a roll of that was like $15 or something. That's really expensive. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and smooth out my glue so I can get a really nice seal on this. And this is a way of just stabilizing that spine, because when you get your signatures in here, you're going to, you know, be opening and closing this a lot. And this is just a popsicle stick. It's a wide popsicle stick. If you have oh, I forget the proper name of it and stuff. That's bone something. I'm sure it'll come to me. It'll come to me tonight at midnight. Anyway, but you don't have to have any fancy tools to do this project. You know, just utilize what you have. You can also use the back of a scissor, but I'm just making sure, you know, that I'm getting a really good seal here, and I'm going down in my, you know, in the indentation of the spine, but I'm trying to stabilize that spine, because when I start opening this and closing this, I don't want to put any additional pressure on that spine. So now you can tell it's a lot, you know, it's a lot more secure and stuff. So that's exactly what I want. But I want to make sure and go down in those, and that's, you know, in the indentations here of the spine. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some scrapbook paper, and I'm just going to cover the inside of my journal. So what I want to do is I'm going to lay this flat, and even if I have to do, you know, and I want you to do, I don't want you to do, and don't feel you need a piece of scrapbook paper that's going to cover both sides. I want you to do one side at a time. Okay, so where did my pen go? Okay, so I'm going to mark right here, and I want to go just to the edge of the spine, because we're not going to cover the spine with this. And I just made some marks on my paper with my book, and then I'm going to cut that out. Make sure that that fits. Yep, that's going to be a good fit. So then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over to my other sheet that I want for my other side. And I'm going to draw on my paper as the width and the length that I'm going to need, and I'm going to cut that out. But I'm not going to decorate the inside of my journal yet. I'm going to decorate the outside first, or put the decorative paper on the outside first, because we're gonna fold in, and I want the inside to look very neat. I don't want to show any fold overs from the front cover, and I want to make sure and cover that front cover. So I'm going to set these to a side, and then I'm going to go to my front cover, and these I'm going to do a little bit wider. Okay, I want to, for my front cover, I want to have the same, I just want to go a little bit wider so I can have a little bit of fold over. So we're just going to go about like this. So maybe like a 1/2 inch wider than what we think we might need, okay? So I took my dog Daisy out just a little bit ago, and she is absolutely loving the snow. She is just crazy for snow, and I had a hard time getting her to go back in and stuff. She just absolutely loves snow. Okay, all right, now I have my front cover. So I'm going to set that aside, and then what I'm going to do is the first thing that I'm going to cover is I'm going to make a cover for the spine, and I want to do that separately, okay? Because I don't want to, the spine has a lot of pressure on it, and so I want to cover that separately. And so I'm going to cut another 2-inch long, and you'll have to measure yours and stuff. You're gonna do double what your spine is, okay? So if this is 1 inch, I'm gonna do a 2-inch. My book is 8.5 inches tall, or long, however you want to say that. Okay, so now I have this 2-inch wide strip. I'm gonna have to cut just a little bit off the end. And it's okay to trim, and stuff afterwards, even after, sometimes after we, no, I cut it too short. Sometimes after we, even if we measure and stuff, we can kind of get off a little bit, just like I did right there. So, let's see. So, There we go. Maybe we'll get it right this time. So pays to take your time and do it right the first time, right? Okay, awesome. So now we're good to go. Okay, so now we're just gonna put down another layer of our tacky glue. But like I said, if you guys just have plain white glue, you can just use plain white glue. Doesn't matter, it's whatever kind of glue you guys have. But I just want to make sure and that I have enough glue that I'm going to get a really, really good, you know, seal with this and stuff, and it's not gonna come apart. So I'm gonna make sure and kind of get that glue down there in that crease. And so I don't have any air bubbles or anything. Okay, so now we're going to take, I'm going to take my popsicle stick and I'm going to really, really work this in there. I want to make sure that I can still bend. And I actually press pretty hard with this because I'm really trying to make it so it, you know, not only will lay flat, but it will also bend. And so that's why I'm working that in there, you know, pretty hard because I want it to stay. Okay, perfect. And you'll just have to play with this, and you're gonna spend more time on it than what I'm spending right now and stuff, but I'm trying to hurry so I can show you guys this full technique, okay? All right, so now when we place the front cover, the covering on the front cover, we wanna have a little bit of overhang. So here is what I mean and stuff. We want to have a little bit of overhang and stuff, and that's okay. We want to have that, okay? So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to get the glue going here, and I want to put quite a bit on. And then smooth it out with my silicone brush. But like I said, you don't have to have one of these. You can use your fingers, you can use, you know, whatever you would like and stuff to get your glue. So it's just, you can have a nice even coat of glue and you're not going to get any lifting or air bubbles. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to make sure that I have overhang on all sides. And then I'm going to press that down. Take my popsicle stick. Just make sure and get a really nice hold. So I'm going to do the other side now. Okay, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and do the other side. Again, I wanna make sure that I have overhang. And then I'm going to go ahead and press down and go across it with my popsicle stick. And then I'm going to flip it over. Okay, so now we've got this overhang, and that's exactly what we wanted. But you can see if we just go straight across and we glue here, this is going to be kind of funny and stuff on the corners, right? So a trick to make it lay flat on the corners is this. At the corner, you want to take and cut out a square. Right like that, okay? So see, my square is notched now on my corner, and so when I start wrapping this around, it's going to lay flat. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put a bead of glue here and bend this over. And sometimes this Aleene's glue dries really, really fast, and of course, sometimes it doesn't. So I have actually taken clothespins and pinched things down with clothespins. But of course, I didn't bring one with me today, so I don't have one. But if you've got one at home, that clothespins are very handy. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make another bead here. Cut out my little square here, get him situated. And I should have left more of an overhang. That's all right though, I'll make it work. Okay, and then I'll go to my other side and I'll cut out my little squares so I can lay flat. Okay. All right. And now we're just about ready to go ahead and you want to do this on all your sides, okay? And then you'd want to sit and wait, let this dry just a little bit. But for the time's sake here, I am going to go ahead and those two inside covers that we pre-cut, I'm going to go ahead and put them on just so you guys can have a better idea of how this is supposed to look and what this is supposed to look like. Okay. Okay, so we're going to put that back, or that inside cover on, and just smooth that down. And we do not want to cover the spine area, remember, and stuff. We're leaving that spine bare because that has its protectant on it already and stuff, and we don't want to add bulk to it. We just want to have it protected and stuff from the constant opening of this. Okay, so there we go. We have our outside cover, the inside cover and outside cover done. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to start making our signatures. And I could decorate this, I could decorate, and if you guys want to decorate this in any way, you can decorate it with stickers, or you could, even say something on here. What I'm going to do with this and stuff is I am going to Mod Podge the covering on this, just to give it a little bit more durability. And at that time, I'm going to, really focus on the outer edge and the corners, and bring everything in. And I just want to have this to have a very protective covering. So that's why I'm going to do. I'm actually going to do 2 coats of Mod Podge with this, okay? And so now we're going to go on to making our signatures, and signature is a bookmaking term, and how we do that, and that is what's going to go on the inside of our little journal covers, okay? Our hardcover journal covers that we just made. That's what's going to go on the inside, and this is so easy to make. You'll just be blown away. What I have here is I have 10 pieces of paper. That is just a sketchbook paper, okay? And you can use any kind of paper. You can use white printer paper, or, it's just whatever you have available to you, okay? And so if you, have sketchbook paper, great. If you don't, you can use something else. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half. Excuse me. And I'm going to see... I'm going to have to do just a little bit of trimming. See, I'm going to have to do just a little bit of trimming. And so I'm going to have to probably take off about 1/2 inch off of this, off of the bottom. And then I'm going to take off just a little tiny bit on the side. Okay, so I've got... nine, so I want 8 1/2. You're going to trim, to whatever you need and stuff for your size. Now we can do that with our scissor, or we can do that with our X-Acto knife, whatever you feel comfortable with trimming. I'm going to do the first couple papers here and stuff, and then I will do the rest. And what I like to do for my signatures, for the inside of my books, is I like to use 10 sheets in each, and we're going to put 3 of these sheets, or 3 of these signatures in each. So, okay. Now I'll see if this is the right size. Okay, and that is perfect. That's going to fit in there perfectly. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold everybody. Okay. Cut that a little bit off. Okay, so now what we're going to do and stuff to put these together, because we don't want just loose sheets of paper on our hardcover book, is what we're going to do is this, okay? We are going to take just a thumbtack, and we're going to, and I've got staples here. I know I do. What happened to my staples? Okay, my staples have disappeared. I have a gremlin in here, I'm pretty sure. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we're gonna pretend that we have staples. But what you wanna do to put this together is you just want to, you know, about an inch up from the bottom, you wanna take and you wanna poke your you know, your little thumbtack through, and you're gonna make 2 little holes about as wide apart as a staple is. And you wanna put one down here, and then about an inch from the top, you want to do that also. And like I said, about as wide apart as the staple is. Oh, and there's my staples. Okay. So, you know, a block of staples comes about like this. So you want to just very carefully and hopefully without glue on your fingers, because it's a lot more complicated if you have glue on your fingers. You want to just break a staple apart. And don't use your teeth. I had a kid in class one time that did that, so it freaked me out. Okay, and so we want to just press our, you know, put our staple in our little hole that we made. On the top, on the bottom and the top. Okay, and then we have the staples, you know, that have come out here on the back side, and we're just going to take them and we're going to bend them over. And we're going to put together our little book. Okay, so that is our first signature. That is all stapled. There's been no stitching in this at all and stuff. That's all stapled, and it is ready to get put into our hard-covered journal. Okay, so there it is. And what we do here and stuff is you take your skinny headband or your elastic. You can use elastic too. And we're going to open up our book, and we're going to, of course there needs to be a little bit more gluing here. We're going to just put 3 of these in here. Okay. And then when we start filling these, like I said, each of our signatures are going to be 10 pages, okay? And so when we get to start filling these, we're going to have, you know, potentially 30 pages in here, and that is what we want, okay? So I'm just going to fill the middle one here, and we just slide it in. Just like this, and then our signature is kept in here securely, and we can close our book. Okay, now that's what our spine looks like. So now if you wanted to finish off, and I generally like to use another one of these headbands and make it so it excuse me, I have allergies, by the way, really bad. Anyway, so we're going to make have a closure here and stuff with another little headband, but you can tell this is too wide and stuff, and I want it to be secure enough to hold my all of my stuff together, okay? And so what I'm going to do here on the back is I'm going to just kind of fold this over, and I'm going to take a hot glue gun, and this you do need a hot glue gun for, because you can't really use tacky glue for this. You need a hot glue gun for this. And you're going to want to just hot glue your, yes, and that is hot glue. Hot glue your excess, do a little fold over. And then what I'm gonna do to cover this is I'm going to add a green button because the inside of my book is green, and so I'm going to just glue a green button right on top. Okay. All right, so there we go. That is our hardcover style traveler's journal, and you guys can fill this with anything that you would like. You're going to open it like this, and then, like I said, you're going to fill this up with your signatures. Make sure everything is glued down on the inside, and then fill this with whatever you like. Fill it. A traveler's journal is about writing daily things that you're seeing. Maybe you can use it as kind of a diary. You can use it as anything that you would like. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed putting this together. Again, if you have any questions about the project at all, and if I can help you in any way, get a hold of me on Facebook. I'm Myra Klein on Facebook. And I thank you so much for joining me with Art with Miss Myra. Tomorrow we are having our Fun with Fiber Friday, and we're going to be doing circle weaving, and so you need to have cardboard that we're going to cut our circle out of, and you need to have yarn or t-shirt yarn, but something to do a weaving project with, and so we're going to do that for tomorrow. So thank you again for joining me, and hopefully that we'll see you all tomorrow. I will be here, and the lesson will be at 11 o'clock Mountain Time, Monday through Friday. So I will hopefully see you all back then. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye-bye.